What's up, y'all? Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesdays here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. Thank you for joining me today. Greatly appreciate it. As always, if you could, hit the like button, subscribe button, notification button. And most of this week we've been doing review videos, reaction videos. So I decided to do a Reddit video since we haven't done one in about maybe a good month or maybe even it's been 2 months. But the title of this video is My Boyfriend, who's 25, lies constantly when I try to break up. He says he won't allow it. I feel stuck. And she's 22 years old. So this is a very interesting situation. I haven't read this yet. This is going to be the first time that I'm going to read it aloud to you guys. So y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below. We're going to read some comments. But just from the title alone, I can tell you this could be a very, very scary situation. Depending on the context, depending on how it goes. But I'm going to read first before I jump to conclusions. So she says, I'm 22 and my boyfriend is 25. We've been together for 3 years. We met at a friend's birthday party. He wasn't the most attractive guy, but he gave me attention and respect, and that meant a lot. A few weeks later, we were in a relationship. I had a weird gut feeling from the start, but I thought it was just nerves from being in my first serious relationship. So let me just go off the back, and I'm not trying to knock the woman off right now or say anything, but ladies, if you're not attracted to the guy, even if he gives you attention and respect, you still need that attraction, right? Attention and respect is a very big thing for both sides of the party. But if you're not truly attracted to him, it's probably not a guy you should go for. But again, we're not here to, drag on her. We want to hear what her story is, and we're going to keep it going. So early on, I suspected he was lying about small things, but I always blame myself. He promised me gifts all the time, which I never asked for and never followed through. Oh, and let me make it perfectly clear. It is her first serious relationship, so let me take ownership on that. She probably still figuring things out. But anyways, continue. One Christmas, I got him a thoughtful gift, and he said he wanted to buy me lingerie in return. Interesting. But then he claimed his card didn't work, so I paid for it myself. I never got the money back, so I ended up buying it for myself instead. Interesting. All right. The next year, he said he'd get me a MacBook to thank me for always helping him. First, it was already at home. Then it was still at the store and partially paid. But it turned out none of this was true. I brought my own, and again, he promised to pay me back. He never did. He stayed at my parents' house for a few months, claiming his dad was in the hospital and his mom was abusive. Later, I found out that wasn't true. He just wanted to stay with me. So, let's stop right there before we continue on, right? Fellas, and ladies too, but especially my fellas, if you promise something to your partner and you don't deliver, you do realize that trust level is going to go down, down, down. Don't say you're going to do something and don't follow through, right? That diminishes trust and ultimately will make the person want to leave you, because one of the most important things in a relationship is what? Trust. I ain't gonna lie. If I was a woman, after the second or third time, we would have had a nice long conversation. He probably would have been long gone, because you can't do that and think you're gonna stay with me. Ain't gonna work. Let's keep reading. By last September, he stopped visiting me or texting me regularly. More red flags. He kept saying he was on his way, even though he only lives 15 to 20 minutes away from me, and he never came. I found out from my best friend with proof that he was flirting with other girls. I confronted him and he swore he'd never do it again, but things didn't improve. He would sometimes show up for a half day, sometimes not at all. I noticed he'd only do just enough to keep me hoping. He also lied about living alone. I found out he still lives with his parents, and when I saw his car at their house. Then I heard from my sister that he messaged the girlfriend of her friend asking if she knew any pretty girls for him because we had broken up. He said I only used him for physical intimacy and money, which is absurd. I was never with him for money. I gave far more than I got. He apologized again, begged me not to leave, and said he'd hurt himself if I did. Oof. I gave him one last chance. He tried for 3 weeks, then slipped back into old patterns and worse. He hasn't visited me on weekends for 2 months now. Yesterday we had a call where I broke down crying, telling him I can't take it anymore, that he's breaking me emotionally. He told me not to cry and promised he'd come today for sure, but now it's been hours and I've heard nothing from him. He was supposed to come today to drive my parents to the airport. They're going away for a month and told me that if he doesn't help, he's not allowed to stay with me while they're gone. He knows this and still doesn't show up. Worst part, every time I try to break up, he says, no, that's not going to happen. I won't let you. Oh, bet you it will. What? Fellas and ladies, you don't force anybody to stay. That's not showing any form of dignity, and that is wrong, right? Wrong. And ladies and fellas, if you ever find yourself in a situation, you need to find a way to get away ASAP. Now, I know in her situation, it's probably pretty difficult because the guy knows where she lives, and we don't know what's running through his mind. And based off of his record, based on what he's displaying so far, we don't know what he's going to do. But let's keep reading. He doesn't yell, but he manipulates, saying I'm all he has, or that he'll hurt himself, or that I'm being unfair. It leaves me confused and guilty every time. Now, that's a very tough part of a situation to be in, because it's like, on one end, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, look, if you hurt yourself, that's not on me. But on the other end, you feel like I'm going to feel guilty if somebody actually does do this. And unfortunately, there are people that do this and that are very manipulative. And that leaves you in a very uncompromising or a very compromising, situation. I feel stuck. I know this is toxic, but when he's with me, he's so kind, supportive, affectionate. It's like I get addicted to the good version of him, even though he constantly lies and disappears when I need him most. I don't know what to believe anymore. I just needed to get this out of my system. All right. Whew. Sorry, y'all. This is a very tough situation to be in. And this hits me personally because I know a lot of women who have been in this very situation, right? And first of all, fellas, let me make something clear. If a woman wants to leave, regardless if you are in the right or you're in the wrong or it's both sides, you let her go. That's the way you preserve your masculinity and self-dignity, right? You don't force somebody to stay somewhere they don't want to be. And just because as a man, you are physically a stronger vessel, if you don't let a woman leave, then guess what? You're showing that you're weak because you're showing that you're needy, and you're also showing that there isn't others out there if you're doing the right thing. Now, if you're doing the wrong thing, you still need to let her go and do some reflection. But unfortunately, people like this guy in this situation, clearly doesn't know what he's doing wrong. And I feel horrible that this is her first relationship. She's going through this because it's going to take her some time to heal. And not only is it going to take her some time to heal, but it's a bad look because, for other guys that are going to come after, she could meet better guys in the future. And it kind of throws things off for them trying to, build a real connection with her. A lot of times when you have a bad experience, especially when it's your first relationship and it's a bad experience, it doesn't set the precedence for good things to come. Let's read some of these comments and let's see what the people think. Buddy Inevitable 638 said, he is a minimal, emotionally abusive. He's a pathological liar, controlling, manipulative. He's making threats to harm himself that are likely just manipulations. But if they aren't, he's an adult. When we are suicidal, we call 911. Simple. Agreed. You need to get out, stop the cycle of abuse and manipulation. You don't live together. That means you tell him firmly the relationship is over. Any attempts to contact me will be seen as harassment. Block him. Yes. Be vigilant to stalking and harassment he may engage in, linked with local domestic violence resources. I agree, because I know it's a little tougher because he knows where she lives, but at the same time, they don't live together. So, I mean, they kind of do based on what they talked about, but not really in a sense. So at any given time, that's her place. Yes, she stays with her parents, but she can shut that down easily, right? What's my password? 73 says she is trauma bonded to a nightmare. The only way forward is to complete block on everything. Please know that he's sweet to manipulate you. Very true. It's not who he is. It's like baiting a hook to go fishing. He doesn't even like you. You're a mouse to his cat. Dang. I don't think I've ever heard that analogy before, but spot on, man. Spot on. Manga Consequences says, God, how I wish I had this Reddit sub when I was dating OP's boyfriend years ago. I wish I had called 911 every time he said he was going to off himself if I left him. I wish I had been stronger and not stayed in that hellscape of a relationship for 6 years. Wow, that's a long time. OP, please take this advice. Don't live with a bunch of regrets. The longer you stay, the more entrenched he will become, and it will become harder for you to leave. You have support here in the sub when you need it. We're rooting for you. Now get out there and start blocking this ASAP. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to read a few more. Dyer012021 says, but wait until your parents are back from their trip. He knows you're home alone at the moment. He's controlling and trying to change you. No matter what you do, it will be wrong. He's trying to mold you to his perfect woman. The problem with that is that he'll keep moving the goalposts and nothing you ever do will be enough. Very true. I'm torn about the wait until the parents come back because I see what he's saying. And I feel that, he might be saying that for safety reasons. But then on the other end, it's just like, if you don't put a stop to this now, who knows what else is going to continue. You got to remember, when you're dealing with a manipulator, the longer that you allow the behavior to take place, the harder it's going to be to release them, right? It's a pretty tricky situation. I will say that. We're going to read one more, and then we're going to go ahead and end it right here. Cultural Shape 3518 says, every time I try to break up, he says, no, that's not going to happen. I won't let you. She quoted her from the article. That's not up to you. We're done. Goodbye and good luck. Bam. Then you hang up, block him, and be prepared to call the cops if he shows up uninvited. Heck, write a text or email or send a letter if you don't trust yourself to get through a conversation. And feel free to make it clear, because he's forfeited the privilege of a face-to-face goodbye by making it clear he won't listen to what you have to say. Nor does he get to be surprised this is happening. When you've told him repeatedly you're not happy and things need to change, and they haven't changed, or that he's got no one else to turn to if this is how he regularly treats everyone in his life. But he has only as much power to stop you from walking away as you're willing to give him. Stop giving it to him. Agreed 100%. I think that's a great way to wrap this video up. Yes. And actually what's crazy, and I'll say this, on one end, I feel like some people have blocked people for less, right? But on the other end, I also have to say that it's hard when you're in a relationship with somebody. It's one thing, when you just met somebody and maybe you guys not dating or you haven't been official that long, then okay, it makes it a little bit easier to just, but it's a lot tougher when you've been in a relationship with somebody. But I will say this, it's been lie built after lie after lie built after another lie. There's definitely manipulative tactics that have been involved. I think it's best for her to just go ahead and shut it down now. And I hope that she does, and I'm praying for her, because, again, that is a dangerous situation to be in. Because while he's never physically put his hands on her, he never yelled at her, you never know what people will do under certain circumstances. So those are my thoughts. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think. If you want to read the article, I have it below, so that way you can check it out yourself. It's Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesdays, here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. Love you guys. Hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.